Shalom, shalom to everyone watching on the Ways of Israel, the Facebook page. I want to just say, I give a couple of comments about what's going on with God TV, Rabbi Singer, and many of you who are watching a lot of the videotapes of the Ways of Israel. I appreciate your connection and appreciate what you're watching. A couple of interesting remarks that Rabbi Singer made on his YouTube channel, which I thought was interesting, and that is the fact that there is a lack of knowledge among the Israeli population in Israel in regards to Torah knowledge. Many, many years ago, when I was on television here in Florida and had spoken to several rabbis who I even brought them on to the TV show that we hosted called The Ways of Israel in English and Los Caminos Israel in Spanish, you'll see a lot of this videotape up on my YouTube channel. And we did have an incredible impact, causing a lot of people to connect back to different local shuls and synagogues. It was a great blessing, without a doubt. And of course, the greatest benefactors were a lot of the Chabad shuls locally. They were open to this type of television outreach. I'm still in favor of seeing a international outreach channel or broadcast that will share the Torah message pure and concise, and that is a solution to the problem of Israelis not having the knowledge of Tanakh, of Torah Judaism. And I hope this issue with God TV that supposedly threatens the unlearned, uneducated Israeli and Jews about Christianity in particular will wake up the Jewish constituency to the fact that what Israel needs is a Torah-centered, in all language, not only in Hebrew, but in all language, communicating and broadcasting all from Har Sion. That's my vision, that's my desire to see something like that broadcast directly from Israel all around the world. And Israel has the talent, Israel has the money, Israel has the ability, but not necessarily the will and desire to do so. So I think my words to Rabbi Singer, and I hope someone would share this video with him, because I think he needs to know, if he has the strings to pull in Israel to have a 6-day-a-week religious channel, I think that needs to take place, where they can be able to communicate Torah message throughout the world in multiple languages, not only in Hebrew, but in French, and in Portuguese, in Spanish, in English, in all the languages of the world. And you will then see the true power Kalal Yisrael has when it raises its voice in complete unity, be they Sephardic, be they Chabadnik, Hasidic, Breslov, all in one voice, all in one channel, broadcasting directly from Israel throughout the world. My friends, this thing of God TV is really a blessing in disguise. No, they're not going to be able to achieve their goals. I know they're not. Their goal is to try to convert 9 million Israelis. But you know what the problem is? We are motivated by fear. Unfortunately, this issue of God TV has shaken up many Jews thinking, oh my gosh, we're letting the missionaries in. The missionaries are going to take control. The missionaries here, the missionaries there. My friends, we have Torah truth. There are more missionaries that are converting to Judaism than Jews converting over to Christianity or its messianic form. If you look at the percentages of the statistics, it's a small fraction of Jews that convert to Christianity or messianic forms of Christianity. My friends, I only see this as a positive step that will shaken up the well settled in old guard school of Judaism, that they want to keep it locked up as it was a secret treasure that no one can have access to. My friends, Torah Judaism, the concept of Torah throughout the whole world, is going to change the whole entire world. It will bring about, without a doubt, it will bring about the change that in itself is messianic in essence. How? When people understand what the concept of Messiah is, of Mashiach is, within the Torah, both the oral law as well as the written law, we will welcome it. The problem is there's so much of a fear factor that they think we're going to worship a man as God. We've been through that route. We're not going to worship a man as God. We realize what even our parsha said last week. Curse is the man that puts his faith or trust in the Son of Man. So obviously, my friends, don't be afraid of God TV. Just the opposite. Jews should be uniting and organizing a method to be able to broadcast Judaism without it being adulterated or censored throughout Israeli television. Not only Israeli television, but throughout the whole entire world. We are to be the light of the nations, not the nations be a light unto the Jews. You see, when you have Torah perspective, you look at it with a different light, and you get excited, you get thrilled, you get motivated, you get turned on. This is the wonderful thing that has happened with the pandemic. I have never seen so many rabbis on Facebook and different medias teaching shiurim in public, in the public square. So many people are being touched. This is a dynamic that is, for the first time in Judaism, waking up the people. So what's so bad with God TV? I'm in favor of God TV. I'm in favor of a Jewish form of God TV. So you know what? Those of you who have the money, you can do it. Make it happen. And I'll even tell you where you can put your station and satellite on. Right over there at Har Sion. Right close to the city of David. There will be emitted the lawgiver. It says it in our Tanakh. Rabbi Singer, you could head it forward. Let's make it happen, Rabbi Singer. All the anti-messianic movement should unite. And you know what? Raise the money to be able to create a new television station broadcasting from Eretz Israel throughout the whole world. It can happen. But you know what the problem is? You're going to have a lot of problems. That's the problem. You're going to have a lot of problems. You're going to have a lot of people wanting to become part of the Jewish people. You're going to have a lot of desires of people wanting to convert to Judaism. Tovia, you know very well what's happening when you're outreach. When you basically teach them about Judaism, they become so enamored that they want to become part of the people. And what happens? Like happens over there in Indonesia. You can't convert them. Why? Because there's another religion that could threaten your existence. What happened in other parts of the country, like in Pakistan and India. I've received a lot of emails, like I'm sure a lot of other rabbis involved with conversions have received emails from every part of the world. People want to become part of the Jewish people. My friends, we are living in end times, and I have no doubt about that. And this is why we're seeing things happen like never before. But when we Jews come together and unite, and we said this is an issue, not a problem, we will broadcast, we will let you have your God TV, but we're going to have our Torah Judaism TV, and we are going to make you also understand why we don't accept Jesus. We don't accept any failed messiahs. He's got to be crowned by our system. He's got to be coronated and anointed according to what the Torah says, not according to what your fancy thinks. Just because they made the message of Jesus popular, that doesn't make him the Messiah. Interesting enough that Tovia cites a passage in Matthew chapter 23 that says, I will not come until you say, Baruch haba b'Shem Hashem. In other words, think about this. Over 2,000 years ago, a Jewish fellow of the Davidic descendant, and I hold him to be of Davidic descendant, despite of all the problems of the text of Matthew and the Gospels, and there is a reason for my position, but just imagine 2,000 years ago, which the throne of David, the dynasty of David was basically held back, and it doesn't mean only Jesus. A whole bunch of other people of Davidic descendant tried to reestablish, but the Sadducees prohibited it. They did not allow him or anyone else to sit on the throne of David. And we learn from, even during the time of Tisha B'Av, in the Midrash and many other sources, that in fact, that group of people were punished, and let me use that right word, because a lot of people have a problem with the word God punishes. Yes, when we Jews don't do the right thing, there is divine consequences. And that whole lineage was basically closed down, no longer in existence, because they did not established the Davidic dynasty according to Torah. So obviously you hear the words of Jesus, the Jewish Jesus, say, how many times have I tried to gather you as a hen does to its chick, but you desired not to. There was a big issue back then about the gathering, the ingathering of those Jews in the area of Iran, Middle Persia area, that they refused to come down, refused to regather. And as a result, things got stale, and the Pas Romana took place, and the abomination that caused desolation took effect during the time of Jesus, and the destruction of the temple took place, and God abandoned his house and took his people with him throughout the four corners of exile. And now God is bringing from the four corners of exile us back into Eretz Israel, giving us the opportunity to do tikkun for the errors that we have done, with a Messiah that we have not seen yet, that has not appeared on the scene yet, because he has not come yet. So you cannot say that Jesus is the Messiah. He hasn't been anointed, he hasn't been crowned according to the New Testament, and he never reigned one day in his life, either in Shemayim or on earth. And here we have a wonderful response to our Christian fellow, saying, what would be if your Jesus is not the one you expected? And in fact, it's a completely another one that is according to the Torah, that believes in God, that will not set up any type of idols, because he will follow Torah and do everything he says. Now we turn the tables, my friends. We Jews can turn the table on the whole Christian community and says, you guys are involved in a false worship. What happens now, my fellow Christians who are watching this? What happens now to you and your faith? Because if Jesus did not rise from the dead as you guys teach it, in vain is your faith. And this is exactly my point, my friends. We are not to fear neither the Christians nor the missionaries nor any other movement that comes to try to shake those who have no knowledge, even if it's an Israeli. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, Ariel, I believe his name is Ariel, an Israeli fellow, began trying to reach out to Jews, observant Jews, him being a person who had no knowledge of Judaism and have some type of, you might say, half and half understanding from his early years as a Jew. My friends, you're going to have people saying, oh, I saw Jesus. I saw Jesus. I saw Yeshua. No, Rabbi Kaduri spoke of him. He said in a secret way that it was Yeshua HaMashiach, which means Jesus the Messiah. We're not to be shaken up, my friends, over the fear tactic and the issue whether a person that lived over 2,000 years ago is currently the Messiah, because he's not reigning in Israel. And even if he were to appear to you with all types of things, he still has to qualify according to halakhic procedures. And he hasn't, and it will not be. So my friends, my point is very clear. Don't be afraid of God TV. As a matter of fact, let's take this as an opportunity to launch Torah Judaism TV or God-centered TV or anything else. We need to spread the message of Torah Judaism, like many rabbis are saying. We need to do it. Our existence and our mission is involved in spreading the light of Torah, not only to our people. Even in Israel, 9 million, the majority of Israelis don't even know Tanakh, don't know the 5 books of Moses, don't know the Nevi'im and the Ketubim. And yet now comes the Christians to shake us up. This is good. This is what we need. We need a spiritual shaking up by those who are the complete opposite of what is Emet. And then eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have to deal with those people who basically realize the truth, realize the light, and want to attach themselves to the Jewish people. And they're going to come and they're going to say, you know what? What we receive as an inheritance is false, it's sheker, it's not true. How can I be part of the people? Let me take hold of your tzitzits. Let me take hold of your garment. Let me be part of your people. Teach me your ways, O Jews. This is exactly in fulfillment of the prophet Zechariah. We Jews should be more excited than never before. Not depressed, not the, oh my God, woe is me. I'm a victim of over 2,000 years of God not speaking to us. My friends, God's been speaking to the Jewish people every single day, and you could hear his voice even stronger as the voice of Torah is coming out further and stronger each day. Be excited. We are living in a very special time, in the time which is just prior to Geula. I don't know about you, but I am excited. I mean, just recently I spoke with a rabbi. We're talking about uniting different rabbis to recognize conversions that the Rabbanut refuses to recognize. My friends, if you can't basically work with the fence and there's an obstacle, we got to jump the fence. We got to overcome the obstacles. We've got to unite. No matter if you're Hasidic, if you're Ashkenaz, if you're Sephardi, if you're wherever you're at, it's time for Achdut.